Hi, folks. This is Mark Smith again with Family Tree Brand Life Coaches. Um, you know, what I do is I wait for inspiration, and I've been getting an unusual amount of inspiration of late. My inspiration usually comes from my own pain and struggles, and that gives me a lot of material. But today's video is called Dealing with Your Narcissistic Neighbor, or Dealing with the Neighborhood Narcissist. Um, so I've had some struggles lately, and I want to share from my experience as per normal to help you in case some of you out there have experienced the neighborhood narcissist. The first thing I want to say is I'm still amazed at myself at how I can just assume that everybody's a nice person and that you move into a neighborhood. Um, this isn't our neighborhood in Indianapolis, it's the one in South Carolina. You just assume everybody's nice and good and well intentioned. And um, uh, even though I know that there are really dangerous narcissistic people out there, I go through life with this Gomer Pyle, doofy smile on my face, just trusting everybody. You know what I'm saying? That you build so much safety in your own life, you assume people are safe, and then you let your guard down, and then you can get punched in the face. So the other thing that set me up here is I was prejudiced because all of my experiences in life with a gay person have been that they've all been really nice. And I equated being gay with being really nice. But narcissism isn't a respecter of gender or race or sexual identity. And so my neighborhood narcissist is a lovely gay man. But I didn't see it coming because I thought he was like my best friend, Fred, who's a wonderful, caring, loving man. So that sort of set me up a little bit. So we have two dogs. We got Mr. Polly, my beagle, who's a hound dog and who howls. And we have my wife Renda's dog, Zara. One night we left and went to the movies and we forgot and left the dogs out in the back. And Mr. Paulie's got a little entitlement issue, and he howled and he woke this fella up. And he's got a job where he's got to go to work, so he was mad. So we got a nasty letter. We'd been here 3 months, and it wasn't, "Dear Mark and Renda," it was just, "You left your dogs out. You kept me from sleeping. Don't do that. I'm going to report." It was just nasty. And the temperature in the neighborhood toward us got really chilly. It might have been 6 months after we were here. It got really chilly to where, I thought everybody was being real nice, and all of a sudden everybody's looking at us all slanty eyed, because this fella had been, stabbing us in the back and smear campaigning us. And all of a sudden I just had this distinct feeling that nobody liked us. And it's because our dog barked. Now, there was another time Mr. Polly woke me up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I brought him out to go to the bathroom, and I laid down on the couch while I was doing it. I fell asleep. And then Mr. Polly carried on, woke him up again. And it's probably happened 3 times, maybe 4 times, but none of the times was because we were mean or inconsiderate or, it just, stuff happens. It was an accident. So, man, I tell you what. So So another issue that happened is we have a palm tree that died, and I got a letter from the HOA saying if I got 10 days to get that palm tree out, or I'm gonna be fined $50 a day. So I finally uh, got it torn down and pulled it out. I strapped it to my Thunderbird and pulled it out of the hole, and I was gonna strap it to my motorcycle. I didn't have a wheelbarrow, and run it out back in between the two fences. There's a little pathway, and you can put stuff in the woods that's biodegradable. And that's what I was told to do with stuff like that. And I was going to run it back there. I got about halfway there, and I got stuck in my yard and started to spin, and I sort of tore up my yard a little bit by the tire. And all of a sudden, this fella came out. I was probably, you know, I was probably 2 or 3 feet from his property, but he comes out and he starts lecturing me with just real reactively. And I said, I don't like the tone of your voice. And then he started dropping F-bombs. So the next point, when it comes to the neighborhood narcissist, things are going to come up. You're living close to somebody and issues are going to come up. It isn't the issue at hand, it's how they say it, right? Whether it's your narcissistic boss, your narcissistic husband, or your narcissistic neighbor. We have a neighbor that lives above us in Indianapolis, and she's a really nice person. And evidently, when Brenda and I are gone, Mr. Pauly and Zara have been carrying on and barking. I didn't even know that was going on. So she's confronted us several times via email, but she's done it in a very lovely, firm. She was woken up. She was, her peace was shattered with that howling, hound dog. But it was respectful and kind, but we got the message. We got to do something different to try to help her not have her peace interrupted. So it isn't what they say, it's how they say it. So this fella, as he storms off, he says, "Get out of this neighborhood. You don't belong here." And my next point is narcissists are going to try to get you to quit your job. They're going to try to get you to sell your house. If they don't like you, they're going to try to get rid of you. I got a fellow that I play basketball with who's a notorious narcissist. And some of the fellows don't like playing with me because I'm 4 months away from being 60. And a lot of my game has, got rusted off by all those years. And they may not win if they got me on their team. But this fella, he actually comes out and says it. Mark, quit coming, quit playing. Just vicious, nasty stuff. And here's what I got to tell you. Do not let narcissists chase you out of your hobbies, chase you out of your job, or chase you out of your neighborhood. I had a situation. I think there's a lot of narcissists down here in South Carolina. I had a situation where I sort of almost got chased out of my reading group simply because I was a male. And 3 years ago, I probably would have sold this house and left and had my little ouchy feelings hurt. And I probably would have quit showing up at the gym. But it bounces off me like rubber, it doesn't dent me. It doesn't bruise me. Do not let a narcissist chase you off. And pretty much my message was, I ain't going anywhere, bitch. In so many words. We got a little ugly. Because I was covered in mud, and I was making a big hole in my yard, and things weren't going well with hauling this palm tree back to the woods. And this guy's cussing and dropping, and he said, and this is his dad in him that was speaking. He goes, "Look at you, you're so stupid." And so, yeah, I didn't handle it with the utmost of individuation. Jerry, if he were there, he wouldn't have graded my individuation as being very high. So here's what I have to say is I had this client once, and she had her dad tell her, he said, hey, we're the Joneses. We don't get headaches, we give them. So don't back down from intimidation and bullying. Stand your ground and continue to have joy in your space. But don't strike back and be reactive. After this happened that night, I was thinking, I'm going to go over and knock his statue. He got a statue of a dog. I'm going to knock his statue. I would go spray paint bad thing. I mean, I thought I'd never do it. I'd never do it. But the narcissist can make you really mad, because they're so bruising and so nasty and mean and so clueless. But I mean, I could have complained to the HOA president. I could have taken pictures and left him in his, front of his house, pointing out that the hole in question was clearly way over on my side. But don't do that. Let sleeping dogs lie. There's a time for war and there's a time to de-escalate. So don't let anybody chase you off, but don't go stirring up a hornet's nest either. So and try not to lose your cool. I'm embarrassed to say this, but I invited him to come off his porch and have a little talk in the yard with me. And I'm 6'2" and about 275. It wouldn't have gone well for the little fella. But that's not cool. Don't do that. That's not cool. But I tell you what, to have somebody scream at you because your dog barked, it has a way of getting you stirred up. And then who looks like the nut? This guy will get on his email around the neighborhood or his texting, and he'll say, "Oh, that Mark Smith, he was in my yard and he cussed me." and that isn't exactly. I did tell him. I said, "You're a monster. You're a monster." So, so don't stir things up, but don't go apologize. I'm not used to having a lot of conflict with people. I'm a nice person, and generally I try to resolve my conflicts by sitting down, and I generally apologize for myself. But don't go apologizing to a narcissist. They're not worthy of your apologies. It's like showing your soft underbelly to a shark. Not a real good idea. But I was tempted. Yeah, I'll get a card and I'll put an apology. No, fuck him. He's a monster, and I'm not gonna stir up trouble, and I'm gonna be amicable. But I'm not gonna try to treat him like a nice human being because he's a very vicious, nasty person. So, what happens in the neighborhood or in a relationship or at work or school is when a narcissist is inconvenienced, they experience narcissistic rage. So it isn't just that he was woken up a couple times, it was he, Mr. King B, was woken up, and how dare I, and he's gonna get back at me, and he hates me. How you hate somebody when you don't even know them just because their dog barks? But that's the narcissistic rage. He also said, and by the way, your yard looks like shit. And I couldn't argue with him on that. Our yard doesn't look so good because we got two houses, and it takes money to put in landscaping, and we're just not yet there yet. And his yard looks like a gorgeous presidential flower garden. It's really another reason I thought he was nice. He had lots of nice flowers, but um, me having that dead palm tree and no flowers and general neglect in my yard um, also, I think, brought out narcissistic rage because his house looks so perfect and mine looks so bad. It wasn't just a disappointment, it was hatred. So this is what I'm saying is, regardless of whether you have a narcissist in your marriage, your neighborhood, your workplace, your extended family, go ahead on and have joy anyway. He says, I didn't belong here. And I'm like, I think I do, because I sit in my hot tub and I look at my fence with all the pretty lights on it. And I've got this thing that shoots up laser lights into the trees. And I've got this um, woods in the background. And I got a hammock, and I got these lounge chairs, and I got privacy. And it's just heaven on earth. And yeah, 35 yards away, there's a monster who hates me, but it don't take away from the bubble of joy that I got in my heaven on earth backyard. So turns out the couple that sold us this house, they moved in, and somehow the other neighbor on the other side said she just didn't like the neighborhood. I mean, the street. They bought a house in this same neighborhood, but they refused to live here, and they sold the house at a bit of a loss and moved in the same neighborhood. I wonder why. I'll tell you why, because she must have crossed him in some way, the wife, and he went after her, and he turned the neighborhood into flying monkeys, and she sold and left. Now I get it. So anyway, it's our job to protect ourselves and not be bullied. So to go over my points again, try not to be too negative, but also try not to be too innocent and naive. And don't stir up and get reactive and go into a pissing contest with a monster. Some of it may feel good, but it's probably going to blow back on you and cause you harm. And then also just tune out the flying monkeys. I'm determined to flourish and thrive and have joy. And I don't care if none of them like me. I want them to like me. I'm nice to them. I like them. But all I can do is show them respect and kindness. But that's the thing about the neighborhood narcissists. They could be funneling all kind of negative energy behind your back, and you'd never know. You just feel the negative energy. Like, what did I do? My dog barked, you know. So I hope this is helpful. Establish your space. Find joy in your world. Don't take it personally. Do not give a friggin' guy you play basketball with, or some acquaintance at work, or some neighbor that you don't even know, the power to emotionally bruise you. Stand up to them. Document. I went out today and I took a picture of that hole, and I got it clearly marked that it was on my side of the yard. So he if he does cause me trouble, which I expect him to, I got it documented. So always document and watch your back. But narcissists do not have the power to take away our joy. We can have joy anyway, even if the neighbor is a bit of a jerk and a narcissist. So anyway, hey, I found out today when the abandonment conference is that I'm doing with Avea, and it's March the 5th. So March the 5th, I'll send out an email. I'll put a link this time in it. And there's going to be 30 speakers. And I'm just one of the 30 in this online conference. And it's free. So you can sign up for it, watch me and watch other folks in this abandonment and betrayal conference. So anyway, thank you for watching. I'm going to go watch Dirty John. Y'all hadn't seen Dirty John. I thought it was on Netflix in the States, but it's not. Another conference I'm going to do with a gal out of Australia, organization in Australia, on the topic of narcissism and the courtroom. She told me about this series called Dirty John, and it's wicked. It's wicked, wicked, wicked betrayal of a real sociopath, not just your run-of-the-mill narcissist, but a pure sociopath, and it's scary. And my wife and I have been watching it, and we get so upset we can hardly sleep. So anyway, Dirty John, but you can get it on at iTunes. You get the whole season for $14. So anyway, thanks for watching.